Thank you all for coming. I think we might have one more person coming, but I'm not sure. For those of you that don't know me, I think it's probably only Kerry, Lisa Moore from Fit for More in Haverty. But I really appreciate you coming. This is my very first Lunch and Learn. So there is a feedback form on the table, and I would love your feedback. Now, please be honest, because I want to make these sessions good for you. It's not about what I've got to say. I want you to get the best out of it, and I want you to learn things. So please give me some feedback at the end. So, detox. Is it worth it? What's it all about? I'm going to give you my view on detox. Not necessarily the medical view, it's not necessarily what a naturopath might say, but it's what I think about detox. I think it's a bit of a buzzword. It's very in there at the moment. You read loads of things in the newspapers and on Facebook and everything about detox. And I'm as guilty of using the detox word, because most of you around the table have done some of my programs and so have gone through my 7-day detox. I think detox is a good word in some respects because people resonate with it. They understand that it's a good thing, it's a healthy thing, it's a good thing for our bodies to do. If you look at the Oxford English Dictionary, this is what detox, or to detoxify, means. It means to remove poison, drugs, or harmful substances from a person, for example. So I think that's quite extreme. I think probably all of you around the table would say you don't take harmful drugs, and you don't have chemicals and harmful substances, and you don't put it into your body. But I think we do have to look at where we are in the world today and compare how we eat and what we do to 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. I'm just going to see whether this is still working. It is still working. We now live in a world of convenience. Foods are packaged and prepared for us and not very often by us. I think we're probably all guilty in the room, including myself, of using packaged foods, convenient foods and things like that. The other problem is our food is packaged in plastics, other materials, chemicals, and our food also contains ingredients that we don't necessarily know what they are. If I was to ask you what you think guar gum is, would any of you know?
Gum on the end. It's probably a sugar of something. I don't know.
Is it like a thickener? But do you know where it comes from?
Rubber tree or something.
That's exactly what it sounds like, isn't it? But it's in everything. When you go into the supermarket, have a look and you'll see guar gum, or you'll see another thing called xanthan gum, spelled with an X. Now, guar gum is actually a natural bean, and it's used in Indian cuisine. They use it a lot in Asia and places like that. So guar gum is okay because it's a naturally occurring bean, and they use it as an emulsifier and a thickener. Xanthan gum is made through a fermentation process from a bacteria. The bacteria that causes cabbage rot and black spot on cauliflower and things like that. And I think that's pretty disgusting, actually. But they found out that this product that they can make from this bacteria through this fermentation process, that if they dry it and make it into a powder and add it to things like low-fat mayonnaise, low-fat yogurt, low-fat crisps, gluten-free products, it will help to emulsify and make it look like it should look. Personally, I don't think we should be eating things like that. But that's your decision. The other thing to think about is our transport system is very different now to how it was 50 years ago. Very rarely do we walk a long way. Now, I did a little challenge back in November. Most of you, I think, took part, or some of you took part, to walk 10,000 steps a day. Some of you did extremely well, Sue. But it was quite, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to try and walk 10,000 steps a day. But go back 50 years ago, you'd have done 10,000 steps in an hour, probably, or, a couple of hours, or in the morning. So we're relying on cars, we're relying on planes, trains, automobiles, and all of that. So we're not exercising as much. And all of those things create chemicals or use chemicals. So there's chemicals in the air that we breathe. We just have to walk outside of here. So chemicals and poisons are everywhere in the air that we breathe. They're in the ground, in the food that we grow, and there isn't really much that we can do about the chemicals that are in the atmosphere. But detox, The great news is you do it all the time. So you don't need to go on a detox, you don't need to take detox products because your body does it naturally anyway. I still think detox is a good thing, but I think you have to remember that our bodies do it anyway. So there are three main things in the body that detox. First one is the liver. And the liver will act like a filter and take out all of the toxins that come into your body and will help pass it through your body. The second one, I'll go on to the second one, I'll come back to the third one because you're eating still. So the second one is the kidneys. The kidneys filter out the blood, take all the poisons out of the blood, and we all know where that goes. And the third one, and I'm sorry you're still eating, is the colon. And the colon has lots of bacteria inside it which will get rid of more toxic substances. So your body's going to detox regardless of whether you feed it detox tea or you go on a 7-day detox. But if we change our habits and our environment and do things differently, we can stop overloading our body with all these toxins and things like that. Done a little bit of research on what scientists and doctors and chemists believe about the detox industry. And this is a quote from a guy called Edzard Ernst, and he's a professor of complementary medicine at Exeter University. I think it's quite interesting because he's a complementary medicine doctor as opposed to a medical doctor. He said, let's be clear, there are two types of detox. One is respectable and the other isn't. The respectable one, he says, is the medical treatment of people with life-threatening drug addictions. So you're talking about people that are taking Class A and Class B drugs. The other is the word being hijacked by entrepreneurs, quacks and charlatans to sell a bogus treatment that already detoxifies your body of toxins that you're supposed to have accumulated. So the marketeers out there are saying to us that your body's holding on to this toxin, so you need to take this detox tea or put this patch on your foot and that'll get rid of the toxins. Well, frankly, I just don't believe that. Your body is going to detox, but if we don't put as much bad stuff in our bodies, then we're not going to overload our systems. We all know that if we drink too much, that we could end up with cirrhosis of the liver. So we're making our liver work too hard. And we also know if we smoke nicotine, that we could develop and probably will develop lung disease. So those are chemicals that we don't want in our body. If we don't eat enough fibre, then our intestines and our colon and our digestive systems won't work as well as they should do. And IBS is talked about all the time, and lots of people suffer with problems with their stomach. And that's one of the main reasons that people go to visit their GPs every day. So there are things that we can do to cleanse our bodies or help our bodies or improve our health, but not necessarily go on a detox. Is that all making sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. There will be time for questions at the end, but if you have a really question you want to ask, just ask me, that's absolutely fine. So I have a question for you. Hand on heart, who in the room cooks from scratch every day? Locally, freshly produced produce, that's in season, and you don't add anything that's processed. Anybody?
Not every day.
No, not every day.
Well, the last 3 weeks I have.
You last 3 weeks. I don't think any of us can honestly say 100% every day we cook from scratch. We cook locally produced beef. We get vegetables from the farm down the road. We don't.
Oh, no, I get organic as prescribed by your...
Perfect. But if I asked you if you could do better at cooking from scratch, knowing your ingredients, you'd probably all know, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. I admit I don't cook from scratch every day, but I do cook my meals. I cannot honestly remember the last time I bought a jar of bolognese sauce or something like that to use. I just don't do that anymore. And I used to think it was convenient, I didn't have enough time, so I just use those jars. But actually, to make your own sauces, they taste much nicer. You know what's in them. They haven't got any xanthan gum in them. and they're probably cheaper. So because our bodies are doing the hard work for us as we speak, sitting here, like you have just eaten your dinner, it will be doing that detox process. There are some things that we can do to help it. So these are really my tips to produce a healthier lifestyle, to have a healthier body, to improve how you eat. You'll have heard them before. I'm sure you'll have heard them before, but just really to remind you, Jill's just finished her 21-day kickstart, so she's been doing this. So the first one, drink more water. Drink more water, there's plenty on the table. It flushes out your kidneys and helps hydrate our muscles, our cells.
Can I ask a question about water?
Yes.
Bottled water, tap water. Is there a difference? Or filtered water out of the fridge?
Filtered water is probably better because our tap water contains chemicals. They put chemicals into our tap water, fluoride and bits and pieces like that. But generally, I think it's okay.
Water in plastic bottles. We don't know when it was put.
No,
It's
plastic
something to do
bottles.
with-
Yeah.
I don't know whether it would be best to have it out of the tap than to buy a bottle
Than
of water.
filter.
I don't know how long it's been in there.
No.
All sorts of reasons.
And also glass bottles as opposed to plastic bottles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're trying to avoid the plastic bottles.
Try and avoid plastic bottles if we can. They've done a few studies actually on plastics and reusing plastics, and there's been a lot of scaremongering out there about reusing plastic bottles, especially people that go to the gym with the water bottles. You know, is it BPA free that they do now to try and stop those chemicals that carcinogenic? They're saying. Personally, I don't know. I haven't done any research on that, but yeah, I think filtered water or tap water is fine.
If you look on a lot of the plastic bottles, it actually does say don't only use this once.
Yeah. But the other problem with that is then we're creating huge amounts of waste.
Exactly. The same for the planet.
And what do they do with the plastic bottles?
Yeah.
You know, they burn them and creates. So we're not gonna save the planet in this presentation. So our bodies are made up of 55% water. That's over half. And if we don't keep hydrated, it won't work as efficiently. So if you think about your car, making sure that it's got enough oil in the engine. If you don't have enough oil in the engine, it's not lubricated, the engine's going to break. So same as our bodies, you need to keep hydrated. Sleep. Sleep. When we sleep, our bodies repair. That's when we finally get that time for all the little muscle tears that we get. If you've had a workout, if you've done a metabolic workout, you've been in Phoenix, or you've done a 60 plus, lifting weights, doing resistance, you will have lots of tiny little micro tears in your muscles. That's how our body works. But you need that time for the body to repair. So getting enough sleep is really, really important. The other problem we have in our world today is everybody's got computers, iPhones, televisions, radios. We're bombarded the whole time with messages. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I think as ladies, we like to multitask. So we're constantly filling our heads with things to do. And I would imagine all of you sitting around this table are thinking at the same time, right, I've got to do this later, I've got to phone that person, I've got to do that, I've got to buy this, I've got to do that. I'm sure you are. I am. My brain's good. You know, those little voices in your head, they never stop until you sleep. So sleep is really, really important to help look after your health. Eating more fibre. So I talked about colons and intestines. And sorry, Chris, I'm still eating.
Well, it's only the fibre.
We need to, you know, because the colon plays a big part in the detoxification process, we need to help it. So by increasing or having a good amount of fibre in your diet is going to help your digestive tract. Now, I will say not everybody is very good at tolerating fibre. I know my mum, for example, isn't. So you do have to think about your diet. You do have to listen to your body. You do have to learn what works for you. And I think it's really important that we all understand that we are all completely different. You just have to look at the tip of your finger and your fingerprint to know you are unique. We are all unique, and there isn't one answer for every single person. That goes for, you know, weight loss, health, etc., etc. But having more fibre in your diet is certainly going to help your digestive tract. Eating organic, and Jill picked up on this. Now, organic products don't contain they contain less chemicals. Can't say that they contain no chemicals, because we know that there are chemicals in our ground, chemicals in our air that we breathe. But by buying organic, you know that they haven't been treated with pesticides and haven't had additional chemicals added to them. So wherever possible, if you can buy organic, I know it costs more, but maybe the better way is to buy something that is better quality and going to give you a better health and eat less than it is to go, I'll buy it cheap and I'll buy it in a big quantity. The other thing with all fruits and vegetables and plant-based produce is wash it. I hadn't really thought about this until I did a talk with Nancy. And I wrote a blog about it a few months ago, I think, about washing your vegetables. I never used to do it, but I do now. I wash them now. And you just rinse them under the tap. Well, one of the things that Nancy gave me was white distilled vinegar in a little spray. It's really cheap, it's really easy, and just spray everything, leave it to soak for a couple of seconds or a minute or so, and wash it off, and you'll get rid of all those chemicals. So quick tip, just to get rid of them. And then introduce things like seeds and nuts and vegetables and fruits into your diet. They contain fantastic antioxidants, really good fat. So there was a theory that you shouldn't eat nuts because they've got lots of fat in. Same goes for avocados. Shouldn't eat avocados because they're very fattening. They've got fantastic fat in them. And your body will not absorb nutrients, vitamins, minerals that it needs unless you have fat in your diet. So this whole theory of low-fat diets that came in sort of 20, 30 years ago is wrong. And actually, we've got the biggest obesity epidemic now in this country and in America, and everybody's been on a low-fat diet. So how does that work? So you have to look at natural fats. I'm not saying go out and, eat a massive piece of cheese, all within moderation. But don't cut fat out completely. And low-fat products contain
Sugar.
and xanthan gum. So how about these products that are out there now then? And these programs that you can go on? What's my view? I do a 7-day detox program. But my 7-day detox program, I should probably rename it as an elimination program or maybe a cleanse program, but I'm not sure whether people would understand that in the same way. So I've kept it as a detox. But what I'm asking people to do is to take out the foods and items that can cause problems with your digestion and your health. So things like alcohol, chemical. Well, it goes without saying I wouldn't let you smoke. Nicotine, so no way. Caffeine is a stimulant. Although it is a naturally produced stimulant, it can cause problems with keeping you awake and all that sort of stuff. Gluten, and the reason I ask people to take gluten out of their diet is it can cause problems. There's a lot of people that are intolerant to gluten, but there's also a lot of people that are jumping on the bandwagon saying, I don't eat gluten because it doesn't agree with me. So I think you have to be a bit careful about gluten. Don't just cut it out. And of course, if you go gluten-free products, then they add all these extra chemicals. They add in the xanthan gum and the sugar and cornstarch and all sorts of other things. So just be a little bit careful about gluten-free. And the other one that we cut out is dairy, because that's another one that can cause digestive type problems. A lot of dairy can make you be quite mucousy, can make you feel quite bloated and things like that. But I'm not for 1 minute saying dairy is bad for you. It's not. It's got very good calcium in it. But it's a good idea to take those things out of your diet for a period of time to let your body just relax and detox itself, and then gradually you reintroduce those. And what I'm trying to do is to get you to be that detective, and when you reintroduce them into your body, how does your body feel? If it feels fine, great, carry on eating them. But if you feel that you start eating dairy again, or you start eating bread again, and suddenly you've got that bloated tummy, you're gassy, you feel tired, you feel lethargic, well then perhaps it's time to look at, do I want to reintroduce those back into my lifestyle? So detox tea, You can go on the detox tea plan. You can drink, 10 cups of detox tea, and they claim that you're going to lose pounds and pounds of weight. So you have your detox tea and maybe have one meal a day. Yeah, you'll lose weight. Of course you will, because you're not eating anything. But the trouble is, you'll put it all back on again when you go back to it, because nobody wants to keep that going forever. If you like the taste of detox tea, and it's got good things in it like peppermint or licorice or herbs that you like, have it. It's absolutely fine. But don't think that it's going to detox your body in any other way than your body is already doing, because it won't. In my opinion, it won't. Now, the thing I talked about earlier about the patches that you put on your feet, I was looking at these on the internet the other day, and I came across one that it was a 2-week plan, and it cost £75, and all you got was a box with these little pads that you put on your feet. You wear them overnight, take them off in the morning. The pad's black because it's detoxified your body.
No.
No, I'm sorry about that.
I tried that. I got a free sample sent to me.
Ah!
And I did it.
And did it make you feel any different?
No,
No.
not at
Was
all.
it
And
black?
in the morning it was black when
Yeah.
I took
Really?
it off, and you think, oh my God,
Yeah.
But I thought, I'm not going to be, sort of impressed with this, because I thought, no, it's just a con. It was
I
one
think
of
it's
these
it's
things
just a
where-
marketing ploy
It
to
is,
try and
yeah.
make you feel better.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, if you've got £75 to spend, go and have a spa day,
Yeah.
go for a
Yeah.
sauna and a steam room and have a massage, you'll feel so much better, and you'll have sweated some of the toxins out of your body. So,
Or you could get some organic stuff.
exactly. Or you could buy some organic food. There is another one out there, a programme where you're told to drink a particular product. And it's a natural product, and it's a very good product. But what they get you to do is that you have to drink it, I think it's morning and lunchtime, that's what you drink, and then you have a proper meal in the evening. It has a very laxative effect, so of course you're going to get rid of things out of your body, perhaps a little bit quicker. And you will lose weight again because you're reducing your calories, but it's not sustainable. You can't live your life going on these silly, faddy diets. It's all about eating good food and learning what works for you. And learn what you like as well. So don't eat, things that you don't enjoy, because you won't want to, and then you'll reach for the crisps and the biscuits. So my opinion really is, don't waste your time on detox products. If you like the taste of them and they make you feel better and they've got some good ingredients in, then you can introduce them into your diet. But don't get carried away thinking that going on this 9-day drink is the answer to everything, because it isn't. So, I'm not supposed to say that being a public speaker. So. What's the problem with cooking from scratch and buying organic? There's two things that I would pop into my head, and probably popped into your head. One is time. Have I got the time? And the second is money, the cost. It's more expensive to buy organic. And as I said earlier, maybe it's better to buy better quality in smaller quantities than it is to buy a bigger quantity, and maybe eat a little bit less but have better quality food. With regards to time, I'm just as guilty as all of you around this table saying I'm too busy. I haven't got enough time. Too busy. Mum will back me up. Katie will back me up. It's true. And we have such a busy life now. But imagine this. If you broke your leg, God forbid, please be careful going upstairs, but you were in plaster for 6 weeks, so you couldn't work for 6 weeks, and then you had to have 6 weeks of physiotherapy afterwards. You'd do it, wouldn't you? You'd make the time. Somehow it would fit into your diary, because you would go, oh, my appointment's tomorrow at 9 o'clock, then I've got another one on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, another one on Saturday, and I need to do my exercises. So you'll do it because it's important to you. It's a priority. Another example, which is a bit nicer this time. So your best friend rings you up and says, I've got a 3-night spa break, free, next weekend, can you come? You'd make time for that. Because it's nice, it's something to do. So time is a problem, but if you're serious about maintaining or improving your health and your fitness, then you'll make time. And it's all about planning and preparation. I've sent out on my last few emails, I think, and also I put it on Facebook about on a Sunday night, perhaps just have a bit of a think about what you're going to have for the rest of the week. Prepare your vegetables. You know, put them into. Yes, I know it's a bit. I don't like the word anal, but it's a bit organised. But if you've had a hard day at work or you've been out all day and you come home and you open the fridge and you're hungry and you've got lots of nice healthy products that are there ready to grab, you are much more likely to grab them than the bottle of Prosecco and the packet of crisps that are in the cupboard, because they're there and they're done. The money, well, I think I've already covered that. If you want to spend, you really want to look after your health, then you'll spend that extra money. So in summary, detox, is it worth it? I've probably confused you a little, but detox happens naturally anyway, but detox in the way that I've talked about eating healthy food, different foods, and eliminating nasty chemicals wherever you possibly can is definitely worth it. And going on a 3-day juice detox that you make yourself won't harm you. It's going to bring lots of nutrients into your body. If you can cope with 3 days of just having juice, I certainly couldn't. I would be on the floor, crying, hungry. But that's because I know my body and I know what works for it. And juice diet for me would be a no-no. It wouldn't work. But if it works for you and it makes you feel better, then do it. So detox should really mean cleansing, helping, maintaining. It should mean buying organic product, buying local fresh produce. There's some fantastic farmers markets around here. Go on a Saturday morning. Lewis have a great one. Take the family, go and have a cup of tea or something. Just have a nice time and buy all your products. Fruits and vegetables that are in season. Reduce the amount of packaging and chemicals that you use. Think about that white vinegar, distilled vinegar. Drinking less or even no alcohol. Reduce your caffeine. Don't smoke. Move more and exercise. So to detoxify is to remove poison, drugs or harmful substances from a person, for example. Thank you very much for listening. If you've got any questions, we can go through them now. I have put a feedback form on the table, so I'd love to have your comments. That would be super. If any of you would like to come and talk to me about nutrition or to just anything really to do with health and fitness, I'm very happy to just have a half-an-hour conversation, either in the studio over the phone or catch up for a cup of decaffeinated coffee.
I've got a question.
Go on.
Get enough sleep. What is the enough sleep?